Now, the prospect of Spain needing a bailout running to hundreds of billions of euros has just got a step closer. A senior Spanish minister has warned his country may soon be unable to borrow money on the financial markets. And if that happens, the rest of the Eurozone, and indeed countries like the UK, would have to bail it out. Well, finance ministers from leading industrial nations held emergency talks today, but they appear to be no nearer a solution. Our business correspondent Sarah Smith is here. So what was on the agenda for these talks today?
Well, officially, they were discussing progress towards fiscal and financial union in Europe. What that actually means is they were complaining about the total lack of progress in sorting out the euro crisis. And it was probably a pretty uncomfortable 6 against 1 on this G7 call, because all the other G7 countries are very angry with what they see as Germany's intransigence blocking any ideas that could try and sort out the euro crisis.
Well, what ideas that might solve all of this? What ideas are Germany trying to block then?
Well, the most urgent thing that's required is a bailout for the Spanish banks. Spanish banks need a huge injection of cash, probably about 100 billion euros. And the rules at the moment for the Euro Bailout Fund mean they can't give the money direct to the banks. They have to give it to national governments. The Spanish government is refusing to ask for that bailout because they think it would be humiliating. Well, Germany made it very clear today they're not going to favour any change in those rules. So that is Germany saying a clear no to a Spanish bank bailout, giving the money directly to them. Much discussed is the idea of Eurobonds. The Spanish government did admit today they cannot raise any more money by issuing bonds because the interest rates have gone too high. Well, one way to help them out would be to issue euro-wide bonds. Then the borrowing would be backed by Germany, and that would bring down interest rates for Greece and Spain. But Germany said 9 to that one today as well, because that would put their interest rates up and mean that they were assuming the risks of the borrowing of these troubled countries. Also on the table these days, deposit insurance. And this is important because we've seen a huge amount of money being taken out of banks in Greece and Spain. This could quickly turn into a bank run and be a real crisis. You could reassure investors if you had a euro-wide deposit protection scheme. Then there would be no point in moving your money out of a Spanish bank and into a German one. In this case, it is the German banks that say 9 to that one, because they think that they would end up having to compensate the customers of other countries and other banks.
So is there any sign at all that Germany might be prepared to relent on any of this?
Not from the German government with the statements they've been making today, but we have had a warning from the former foreign minister, Joschka Fischer. He said rather dramatically, Germany destroyed itself and the European order twice in the 20th century. It would be both tragic and ironic if a restored Germany brought about the ruin of the European order a third time. That's pretty apocalyptic, but that is the kind of thing you're hearing from now Germans as well as other Europeans when they look at this crisis.
Sarah, thank you very much for taking us through all that. Now back to Krish in Buckingham Palace.